What up, YouTube? Let's get right into it. I want to talk about the reason why I feel black men date other women of other races besides black women. I know people are going to say, well, that was years ago. You need to get over it, or that happened to your ancestors. But I'm going to tell you a very real fact that still affects the psyche of black Americans, and it is the effects of slavery. Okay? People can act like it's been like so eons ago, but it really wasn't that long ago if you really want to think about it. Okay? Uh, it's just in my lifetime that we actually was able to have human rights. Okay? So let's keep that in mind when we talk about this subject. Moving right along. Okay? We were brought here equivalent to being babies. Okay? We were brought here. We were stripped of everything. We were stripped of every single thing: culture, dignity, language, everything. I would go on to say that we were prisoners of war. Okay? Everything. And if you look at each other racial demographic across the nation, every other racial demographic speaks their original language and have their culture intact. Think about it. Moving right along. We were brought here, we were stripped of everything, and we were reprogrammed, right, to self destruct by evil masterminds who were able to understand the long term and the permanent effects of the trauma inflicted on us as a people. Okay? I hope you're following me right now. So, stripped of language, stripped of culture, stripped of religion, stripped of everything. And we were intentionally reprogrammed to be a permanent second class society in the country that we live in today. Okay? Follow me. All right? The food that we eat is called soul food, right? It was the most unhealthy is part of the animal, such as intestines, such as in pork, which causes high blood pressure. African Americans, we as black people, we suffer from high hypertension greater than any other racial demographic. The diets that we were introduced to kill us. The trauma the racial trauma that we are introduced to kills us. So, from our very inception, we were programmed to compete and programmed to destroy each other. And that has become a part of our culture, even to this day, when it comes to hip hop culture, hip hop music. Okay? But we're not that far yet. Now, let's talk about the different dynamic here where I'm going to. Let's look at the family structure. 75% of all black children are coming from single parent homes. Think about that. So you have daughters growing up without a father, and all of the media destruction that is caused to destroy the image of a black man. How can she possibly even imagine or look at a black man and respect his authority if she never had one in the home? And the ones that she had in the home weren't even real men. Okay? You have black men who were raised by their mother, and they are taught at an early age how to manipulate females. Okay? Now, let's talk about the effects and how it damages our relationships. You have the black female who doesn't know how to submit or respect male authority. And you have the black male who is not taught by a man how to treat a female properly. But you have another demographic of society, which is these other races. They have strong families. People can talk about Mexicans all you want to, but I'm going to tell you something. Mexicans have very, very strong family units. Indians, Chinese, all these other races have what we don't have, which is a small, which is a strong nuclear family unit. And that's what is the glue that holds any group of people together. Okay? Now, let's say you have a white female who was born into a strong nuclear family. She automatically knows how to respect a man. Along comes a black man who has never received that kind of respect. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Ladies, if you want to keep a man, an attractive man, especially a black man, show him respect. Okay? I'm not saying all white women do this, but the ones that I have sat back and observed and who were raised by a strong dad, they respect male authority. It's just the way it is, and they submit to. So, on the contrary, it's not all that peaches and cream for black men to date outside of our race because number one, we have to deal with racism. I'm talking about the kind of racism that could get us killed or jammed up pretty bad for dating the wrong woman that is not a black woman. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, okay? It's not just white people, white males that don't want their daughters dating black men, okay? It's Hispanics. They don't like their kids dating black men. A lot of them don't. Some maybe do, but my experience, a lot of them don't. And so, don't you tell me that there is a secret coalition between black people and brown people because I'm going to tell you that is a straight up lie from the pits of hell. Okay? It's not true. So stop that. Okay? We as black men are constantly dogged out and crapped on by the media. So even if we do get into a relationship with a woman who is not of our race, even if we do get into a relationship with a woman who is not our race, okay, we still have to deal with the racism that comes from it because us coming into the door, right? We have to prove that we're not Pookie and Ray Ray. We have to prove that we're not going to be abusive to the women. We're going to have to prove that I'm not like the typical black guy. And some people don't give a damn if you ain't. They just don't want you dating their daughters. That's just pure, plain, and simple, young man. I don't care what generation you in. I don't care. You might think that it's over. That is a part of American culture and the world. Okay. Here's what it is. It's everybody against black people, and black people don't like black people. So, with that being said, I'm not telling anybody to date out of your race. I'm not saying that. But you black people, especially you black men, when you date somebody out of your race, you have better be really careful. Okay? You had better make sure that that woman understands that if she dates a black man, she is going to get ostracized by her own people. Make sure this is the type of black white woman that understands that racism is very real because when she starts dating a black man, if she doesn't have thick skin, the pressure of dating a black man can destroy the relationship because she doesn't have to deal with racism before she meets you. Okay? This right here is some priceless knowledge that nobody talks about. Okay? Before she meets you, she does not have to deal with racism. Okay? After you, and God forbid, okay, God forbid, if she has kids by you and cannot deal with the fact that her kids are going to face racism as well. Now, I will tell you this: some white women are warriors. You mess with their kids or their family, it's on and popping. I'm just letting you know, white girls, you better know what you're getting into when you think you want to date a black man. Because that side of your family that you never knew about because they never had to deal with black people might come out, and it might shock and surprise you. Okay? Like I said, I'm talking about stuff people just don't talk about. We need to talk about stuff like this. Okay? Now, let's talk about the black woman and the black man. It seems as though in this society we live in, the only thing black people are doing is having sex and having kids, which is very, very destructive to our community because we don't even realize how psychologically messed up we are because we don't really understand the damage that is being done through the media, through the music. They subconsciously program us to have self-hatred for each other, and we don't even realize it. Listen to the music, listen to hip-hop, look at the movies, look at the subliminal messages that they put in the movies. Check it out. They subliminally program black people. They continue to subliminally program to keep us hating each other. The black woman doesn't even realize that she is the cause of a lot of the reasons why black men don't want nothing to do with black women. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. What I've experienced, what I've saw, a lot of white women know this. A lot of white women know this. I'm just keeping it 100. So the next time you see a brother with a white woman, there's a whole different dynamic that could be going on in that relationships. Because deep down, okay, some white women are just naturally attracted to black men. It's just the way it is. Some black men are just naturally attracted to white women. It's just the way it is. That's the way attraction works. I'm not here to tell anybody not to do this, not to do that, not to date this race, not to date that race. But I will say, if you're going to do it, you had better understand what you're getting into and what you're signing up for on both races. Because there's going to be a time where y'all show up at an event when the dominant people at that event are white, and you're a black man walking in there with a white woman, and she had better understand her own people who have all the power and the money and the control can make her life a living hell. She had better understand that, and she had better have thick skin. Y'all need to listen to this gray beard old man. I'm not that old. I'm because I'm not the average guy my age. I can still do stuff that I did probably better than I could do in my 20s because I'm more experienced now. But you get the picture. I've been around the block. I know what I'm talking about, young men, young people. I don't know if you got somebody to tell you uh, to to give you this game, but I'm giving you some game. So remember, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you for stopping by. Deuces.